G'day guys, just going to preview the Hobart Harness meeting on Friday night, the 23rd of June. Apologies for being a bit later this week, I've just been a bit time poor, and by extension of that I probably haven't put as much work into this meeting as in most weeks, but I'll still try and put something up, and it doesn't look to be a ton of value on the card, but we'll see what we can come up with anyway. The first it's for the lower points division of the C1 to 2s, and Riley Coyote looks thrown in here. Actually, if you ignore his last run, he looks the world's living certainty, if truth be told. Bookmakers surely have to risk him on his last run, but if you get black odds, I think you're well worth having a punt. The one at a bit of value in the race is Capture Me. She's going super well, loves the mile. Second row over a mile is never ideal, but draws to settle handy. So I think the play in the race might be back Riley Coyote a win and have a saver bet on Capture Me. The second, Chickabella, she's just super genuine mare. Draws well, which is something she's never had much luck with since her juvenile days. Just my one concern with her is that she lacks a bit of tactical speed at the end of her races. As honest as she is, she does lack change-up speed, and she's going to have a couple of handy sit sprinters, getting soft runs, so might be a tad vulnerable. Couple here that I'm obviously been married to lately in Lord Jones and Christian Jazz. I'll probably just have small win bets on both of them again. It's just a tricky race. Small fart. 4 smart aces. He's first up in the state, did actually trial okay during the week, and does possess a bit of gate speed, so might be interesting for the favourite there as well. And you've even got horses like Laban Nikita, easiest race she's struck in a long time. Trials have been a bit inconclusive, but obviously there's a chance, and even Ebony All Stars, we pointed out last week, ran a much improved race. So but small bets 1 and 4 in race 2. The third, Cardinal Spec, come back sort of, obviously figure form explains it perfectly. The one sort of half drawback here is the second row. He did win from the second row death seeding in super sectionals when he resumed, so you'd imagine it's not too much of an issue, and he should be winning again. I'm never keen to take short odds second row, so I'll probably give the race a bit of a miss. Sultan Fella's going okay. He's a bit of an opportunist type. And Call of Julie is one who's sort of low flying, just having not much luck, and obviously the draw makes it very tough again. So keep going back to Cardinal Spec, but I don't think he's a great betting option at the likely price from the draw, so might give that one a miss. The fourth looks a dead set 2-horse race here with a couple of promising types, Spot 8 and No Spring Secrets. They've got very contrasting racing styles as well. Spot 8's on speed, keeps chugging away at the 1 speed more or less, and No Spring Secrets is definitely the quicker of the two, but obviously draws a second row. Punting's always told me the horse on speed making its own luck will win 80% of the time when those scenarios occur. So very happy to be on Spot 8. If you get black odds, make his own luck in front. If things will pan out perfectly for No Spring Secrets, and can be close enough at the 400, he might just be too quick, but Spot 8, he's going to lead, you'll be in for the fight, and you'll get a good run for your money. So very happy to be on Spot 8 in, and be surprised if anything other than No Spring Secrets could actually beat him. The rest are actually quite even, so trying to pick something for third. Bay Ridge Bill's one who's ticking over okay and hasn't had much luck with barriers and should be smoking its pipe back on the fence, so might be one at odds for a place. The 2-year-old Colts and Geldings, pretty similar to race 4 actually, in the fact that 2 real standout chances in Feel and Dusty and Isaiah. Feel and Dusty will be the one on speed making its own luck. Isaiah's just very hard to assess. Like, it was a little bit arrogant winning on debut. You just don't know exactly how much extra there was, which makes it very hard to take the price about either of them. Feeling Dusty ran better sectionals, but Isaiah passed the eye test, so I probably won't be betting in the race. I really like watching 2-year-old feature races, but sometimes, but we're not forced to bet. And for minor money, we're probably looking at the Rowan Hillier stablemates Run Week Dufresne, and maybe Jack has been super consistent these past few, so that sort of probably winds the race up, you'd imagine. The stand, worth keeping in mind here, it is over the short course, 2090, which really magnifies horses off handicaps. You know, if you think that if any horse leads and they generally settle 20 metres in front, and they're at the mile marker by the time they settle down, it means the back markers have got to run their last mile 2 seconds quicker than the leader. And if you look at this race, I think Macho Camacho, on a speed map perspective, is definitely the one that maps the best. You'd imagine he looks a really good chance of finding the front. Last time he led, he only just got nailed by Fernco Bobby G. Totally excuses last time when pulled himself into the ground in the death. Just at a bit of value, he's probably the one you want to be on, but you can never be too confident in the short course stands, because you do one thing wrong and you're dead 50 metres after the start. So, but he's probably the safest play. The fillies race, a little bit tricky, courtesy of where Ideal Bliss is drawn. I've got no doubt she's the best filly in the race. But over the mile, you don't want to be, if you ease off the fence at the start, you could be spotting the leaders 25-30 metres, and and it's no matter how much you got on them, you still, if you're 20 metres off the leader at the bell, you've got to run your last lap 2 seconds quicker out wide. So she's no moral by any means. Jeanette Barry was very brave in defeat last time. Not quite sure she'll lead this week, which probably makes the task a tad tougher. In-wheel did a fair bit wrong on debut, but its run was still plenty of merit. You'd imagine it'd take improvement from that, so it might be the improver. And there's one at odds here, I think, can run a very cheeky race, or very cheeky, much improved. The first three look clearly superior to the rest, but 22 Carat was very good on debut in the prelude of the race. I might just go and have a quick look at it. Where are we? 22 Carat. Actually, it could have been any horse. They're all in the same prelude, but
50 and in.
So draws gate 7, top of the track. And we'll just actually keep watching it. So it goes all the way back to last, and gets stuck behind a couple that take it nowhere. So you can see they're not in the picture yet. We're at the, came up to the bell. So here it is here, and these two horses just don't take it anywhere. So you can see they've lost touch. It's not its fault. Like, it would have been able to keep up for sure, but it was stuck behind two that couldn't. So, and you see here's the top three in betting that we mentioned. Here's the horse on 22 Carat. I don't think there's any doubt it should have run at least fourth in this race. We'll just watch him go over the line. Yeah, I spent a bit of time showing this horse, but here it is there. It's difficult to see it winning, but from gate 3, Ubit did actually put up 100 to 1 and $11 a place. So if you get silly place odds, I think it's well worth having something on. I think it's a clear fourth pick in the race. Did also try well during the week. So, and most horses do improve from their first run to their second run. So, Yeah, I just think might be worth a throw at the stumps if you get silly odds a place. The 8th, tricky affairs over the mile. Smiling Jeff's got gate speed, as is Marty's for real, so the early burn could be important there. Probably from a safety point of view, one more last, probably the each way play in the race. God's sake's also going well. It's just not entirely convinced which one of these two will lead, which makes it tough to take back either of them. I'd rather have something each way, one more laugh in a tough race. The 9th, probably going to have a couple of 3-year-old fillies served up favourite here. As I'm not overly sold on the 3-year-old filly form, even though both of these are pretty good. I just think if you want to bet in the race, Shady Lou each way. I think, taking on 3-year-old fillies as favourite, I don't think you can do much wrong, even back at 1/2. And I think it's probably a bet to nothing. Yeah, so happy to be on there. And in the last, Angelina Rainbow makes it very difficult to bet in the race. Obviously, its form's pretty average on paper. Sort of Mark Butler has very good record with horses first up. It's got ability there, but you just don't know where it's at. In a pretty thin race, it might be the one. Obviously, Streetside Classic. Super honest and brave, but he just can't break sort of, if anything's close to him at the 400, he's just not quick enough to outlast them. I'd pretty like to see him driven a bit like if we think of a galloper, the cleaner, just take off at the mile, just run all the way and try and outstay them instead of stacking them up. The worst problem with that is if you drive it and it comes unstuck, it looks terrible. But I think that's probably the only way he's going to win another race, is to make it a last man standing affair. Lord Stark was okay last week, but generally races best when he leads. I'm not sure he can get over here. Carrera Boomer, bit easier than its recent runs. Might be, run better. Pop the Cork always runs home okay. So, tricky little affair. So on the card, best bet, we'll go spot 8. I like horses who race on speed and make their own luck, and if he gets beaten, he'll go down fighting. So happy to be on him. That's about the only one I'm sort of half keen on the card. I think if he got sort of $4.50, $5 Macho Camacho, he's probably worth a bet on the speed map side of it over that trip. And 22 carat a place, if you get like $7 or $8 a place, might be worth a few coins just as the bolter. So anyway, guys, we'll wrap it up there. And as I always mention these big 2-year races, I always like to see the best 2-year-old win, and just for the record books. And the way the races are falling, I'm pretty confident we're going to see the right horses win both races. Like if Feel and Dusty or Isaiah win, they're going to have to earn it, either of them. And similarly, if Ideal Bliss happens to win from inside the second row, then nobody can begrudge her the victory. And likewise, if anything's good enough to beat them, they've also earned it. So anyway, guys, we'll leave it there, and we'll catch you later over the weekend. Thanks again.